a diamond, or hourglass for infinity. So trinity plus trinity equals infinity. This right here is called parallel, or L even, because it's 4 L's that are even. Remember, I kept telling y'all about the 4 L's with the pole in the middle? This is Mount Meru. The 4 lands, or the 4 L's with the pole in the middle. All right, and you see it here. 4 sevens is 28, which is 10 again. Now here's the mother goddess raising the double LL. Her number is 5, 14, 5. So only thing I'm saying here is that when you do numerology, you'll miss out if you don't simplify the numbers. So if you got 23, you can take that many ways. 2 plus 3 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6. 5 plus 6 is L even. We can't escape it when we do it this way. It's a code that's interwoven in upon itself. You get to the same place when you look at it this way. You can't escape the mother. So 2 plus 3 is 5, but 2 times 3 is 6, because 6 is who? Set, Satan. 6 is the spiral. We can't escape them. All the numbers tell a story. But year means here, or heir to the throne. The great year was centered around the rule of the pharaoh. That's why the sun calendars came when the pharaohs rose to power. The sun calendar that we're under, the solar calendars, is linked to the rule of the sun when man was ruling. Because we're no longer in a matriarchal system where we was all just under natural time. We're now under the rule of the pharaoh. So everything is under the Pope's time. So that's dealing with the solar calendar. And really, you're not how old you think you are. That's why I don't deal with astrology today, because we don't have the proper calendar to really be accurate when we talk about, well, hey, your sign is here and this means this in your life and all of that. Well, we're using the wrong calendar and the wrong deities to interpret this stuff. I had many astrological readings, and they all were different when I went around the world. So if you get a reading in Egypt, it's going to be totally different than the reading you get in America. People have different calendars and different deities. If you were to get a reading in the ancient day, it wouldn't even be based on a calendar. It'll be based on a cylinder. The word calendar is cylinder. The cylinder is the ceiling that is spinning above your head. That's the real calendar. Not Pope Gregory or the Bible or the Quran. All of these are false time. The real calendar is cylinder. A cylinder is a spinning wheel. All right. And the real calendar is above your head. That's natural time. So the calendar is the cylinder. And let me make sure I'm through here. The year is the hair, dealing with now we're governing time around the pharaoh. And I think that was pretty much it. Guys. And that Valhalla is Allah, or the name Allah was Ella. It's Elah. And that became the name Ellen, Helen, Bella, ballerina, you know. But Allah is in a place called Valhalla, which is heaven or the North Pole. Another name for Mount Meru is Valhalla, and that became Allah or Valhalla. But I don't know if y'all can see my screen. I have a collage up that goes into the number 7. 7 is the L. And if you pay attention to the collage on my screen, it'll really open doors as we let Santos take over now. It'll open doors about the 2 7s equaling 5. As you can see, the 2 7s make the pyramid base. There can be 4 of them as well. I'm going to shut up at this time.
Thanks, brother. That was wonderful. Wonderful. I like the cylinder calendar analogy. I've been using that, not those words. That was an aha one for me, but I've been using the calendar of the skies as the true gospel. You know, all the ones that are written, They are just images of it, or they are pretending to be. They try to be. That's all Gospels are, really. Because as you said, ghost spell or goat spell, same word. Capricorn's the goat, and hence all Gospels, tragedies the same word. It comes from dragoudis in Greek, which means the goat. Oh, the ode to the goat. Dragos oudi. Oudi is an ode. And so that's all a gospel is. It's on the cylinder. It's on the calendar. The true calendar is the natural one. It's the astrological one. It's the natural one. It's in harmony with the seasons. Aries is springtime. Cancer is summer. Libra is autumn. Autumn, the fall, into the tomb. And then the 21st of December, called Saint Tom's Day, the solstice of winter, begins the winter. You see, and astrology is based on that, because as the orbs go along the ecliptic, they generate their frequency, their key signature frequency, and they emanate it, radiate it, and vibrate it from the dome, from the ecliptic cylinder calendar on the dome. Unless we look up.
Hey, I'm sorry. Hold on, Santos. Can you stop sharing my screen so we can? Okay, go ahead, Santos. I'm sorry.
Yep. Thanks, brother. Yeah. So this is so true. And the other great truth that you shared was that Saturn can be found archetypally in many numbers, not just 5. 5 and 5 are 10. 10 is Aten, the number on the 10 fingers of the man. And he can also be found in 9. You can find him in 7, Shabbat, Sheva, 7. and again, this is the other trick with numbers. Beautiful insights on 11 there, brother. 11. Oh, I marvel at that as well. And I've done many presentations on 11. 11 is 1 plus 1, which is 2. So now 2 is a feminine number, whereas 11 should be odd, shouldn't it? Okay, so if we start from 1 and we said all odd numbers are Adam numbers and all Eve numbers are even numbers, right? When we come to 10, you see 9 was that magic number. All numbers go to 9. 9 is the ruler of all ecliptics. 9, 18, 36, hence 360 degrees. Hence the letter I, Jesus, the ruler of the ecliptic, the sun, is 9. That's why I looks like a 9, yeah? And next door, H looks like an 8. Same in Spanish, ocho, H, 8, H. So you see that I number, that number 9, is the completion of abracadabra, which is what ABCD is saying, right? And so it's the perfection of numbers. It's the completeness of man spiritually, see? So 10 should be now a feminine number, and it is, but it reduces to 1. So you see, when you get to 10 now, the polarity flips, and they change archetypally. So this is why there are 12 numbers and there are 9 numbers. The numbers from oh, that's me making all that noise. Sorry, got distracted. The numbers from 10 to 12, they are a transitional triad, okay? There are 4 triads. The first trinity of numbers 1, 2, 3 is a positive trinity. 4, 5, and 6 are trying to be like 1, 2, and 3, so they're negative. 4 is death. 5 is Saturn. 6 is death. Yeah, it's the hex. You get hex when you die.
Yeah,
then
see, that's something that I wanted to point out. The hex is actually what they refer to as reincarnation.
Yep. It is. And so you've got oh, what was that I was saying? Sorry, it was right there.
You say you have 5, which is Saturn. 6.
Thank you for jolting your memory. Okay, so you've got 4 triads. The first triad's positive, then negative, then neutral, then transitional. Unfortunately, many numerologists do not like to include the transitional triad, but you see, it is part of the complete cycle. All cycles, 11, 12, I'll include the 11 there. 12 also, if you look at that word through many languages, you will see that there's a 2 in there. Well, there's a 1 and a 2, which comes to 3. So 12 is that perfect number numerologically for ecliptics in that sense, because it's dealing with the numbers that are not so understood. We understand positive and negative and neutral, but transitional, that's the winter time. So spring is positive, summer is negative, autumn is neutral, and winter is transitional, because everything goes to sleep. And when it wakes up in the Lamb of God at the Passover, 21st of March, Easter, resurrection, etc., everything happens on Nisan 17, which happens to be in Aries, the Lamb of God, because of the Passover, because finally now the sun is gone into positive, okay? Aries and the blossom represents that positivity, and it's the golden age. Summer is silver, autumn is bronze, winter is iron. So the iron is the transitional, and that's why iron is the number 26, the number of Mars. Geometrically, God comes to 26, Jehovah, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, comes to 26, Aleph comes to 26, Aleph and Lamed come to 13, half of 26, Elohim comes to 52, twice the number of 56. And you get the 52 cards in the deck, whereas the 78 cards of the tarot deck, they come from 12, because if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3 all the way around to 12, you come to 78. So the rota, the will of God, the Torah, the rota, is a 12ness. But archetypally, you can find Saturn through all the numbers. 1, Aten, Atum, that's Saturn. 2, that's doubling. That's dividing. Saturn is here to divide. He's the divider. He makes time. He divides the transcendence from the material world, and we go through him to go to the transcendence. So he's 2. He's 3, he's 4, he's 5. I can see him in everything. I see him in 8, and especially 9, because he is the spiritual master. He is Ma'at.
And you're so right when you say.
And here's a 1. Hold on to that thought. And Saturn is Ma'at because it's an anagram, but when you take away the SA from Saturn, you get turn. Because what does Elohim El mean in the Strong's Concordance? To twist, to turn. Okay? So Saturn is turning, and Jupiter, the Taurus field, is making space, time and space. And Peter and Paul are Jupiter and Saturn, Apollo, Peter. So it's robbing Peter to pay Paul. And see, there's always the war of Peter against Paul. The Saturnian Paulian church is more esoteric than the Jupiterian Christian church. One is Elohistic, one is Geoistic. So there are 2 strains of Judaism. One comes from the bottom of the star triangulum, and the other one, Enlil, which is the Elohistic branch. And Jah is the Geoistic branch. It's Saturn and Jupiter, time and space, and it emanates from triangulum. And the 29 letters inside that are the 29 letters that are really mainly all the alphabets. There you go. Jump in. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that. Okay, I got a little echo there. Earlier, we were speaking about this vibration, and you called it the pulse. Well, the pulse is the puss, the womb of the woman. It's the puss or the push. It's the vibration or the vibe that caused the ripple. And I'm just keeping on building on what we're saying here, because this is good. We talked about parallel. You can see the hands in this trinity, and let me share my screen. I told you about 2 arms being up, double L's. 7 plus 7 is 14, giving us 5, which is Saturn, or the number of the mother. Well, think of those 2 arms again. You see, those 2 arms is what gives life, or the child here would be Horus, would be the result of 1 L and another L. This is what I was showing us with Saturn. What you're looking at here is called a home. Here it is. It's a cartoon called a home. It's an engine cylinder or a calendar, because this is the way the sky works with the sun and moon going around the North Pole. It's a cylinder or a calendar. It's a home because this middle peak is Mount Meru. That's the honey. So when you say home, you're saying honey. It's saying the one. So one is not a line, Santos. I'm going to show you what I figured out. The number one is really 2. 0 is number 1. Now I'm going to get on the board and show you what I mean. We've been lied to, and we got a lot of things to consider. I'm going to show you right now, because it's going to get very deep. The numbers shouldn't start with 1. That's what's throwing us off. So let me get this right. Thanks for bearing with me, guys, and for being patient. I think that's good enough. And I hope I don't bust my ass getting up here. Oh. So when I look at numbers, I don't see any numbers out the 9 and 10. And I'm going to show you why. Where's my eraser? You know you can't find nothing when you're looking for it, man. Y'all bear with me. Oh, I got an extra one. Good deal. This way I ain't got to waste y'all time. But we can't see the board. Let me get my camera right. This is going to be very important for anybody into numerology and numbers. What I'm going to show you is the Holy Grail. The biggest mistake we've been making on this earth with numbers is starting them off 1 as number 1. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is wrong. I don't know how well y'all can see this. Let me do it better.
Perfectly. Leave it. It's fine. Yeah, that was good.
So I'm sorry. So I'm gonna go and get to my point. When we do this, this is wrong. Think that make it a little better right there. So starting your numbers off at 1 is wrong, because 1 is really 2. 1 is the number 2. 0 is the number 1. All right. And why do you say that, Brother Sanchez? Well, let's go back to sacred geometry. Here is 1. In sacred geometry, 1 is the point of singularity. 1 is omni. Omni became uni. Universe. Universe. So 1 is omni or nut, the point of singularity. 2 is 1. How did they tell us to draw 1 like a phallus? A straight line. Brother Sanchez, why do you say 2 is 1? Well, let's double it up. Here's 2. Draw a line through it. It's really 1. In sacred geometry, 2 units make a line. The first unit is the 0. 2 is dos. Because when you double up the singularity, you're now taking a linear action. So in Genesis, the darkness was represented by 1 dot. The point of singularity is the black hole. That's the darkness. When the darkness divided itself and said, let there be light, linear light was created. The next step was when the creator divided itself in two, then it gave birth to a third person called a Holy Ghost, who now stepped outside of both of them and watched itself have a conversation. It's like when you talk to yourself, when you say, man, should I do this or should I do that? That's the yin and the yang. That's the angel on one shoulder, the devil on another one. The creator divided itself up into a duad and became conscious of the duality and started watching itself have a conversation with itself. That's what you do when you lucid dream. That's the third person. So the third person is when you go to the Trinity view. 3. That's the third eye. But they start from 0. All numbers are born from 0 and end in 0. Infinity is a number that ends in 0. Whatever it is, it ends in 0, infinity. All right? It ends in a bunch of zeros. So that's why when you look at the number, 7 is completion. This means completion. There are no numbers after 7. That's why after 7, you get the hourglass, which is 8. After 7, you get gobbled up. You get ate up. You get born again. Your week stopped after Saturday. What I want everybody to do now, clock. If you on a desktop computer, if you hover over your clock in the bottom right section, they got something called a calendar on it. Let me see if I can pull it up for you, because you got to see this. This is important. Go to your calendar on your computer by clicking on a clock and a date in the bottom right corner. Open it up and tell me what day does it end in. Tell me. Here's a calendar. What day does this calendar end in? Saturday. All calendars end in Saturday. So why do we end our weeks on Sunday? Saturday is 7. It's completion. Guess what? On September 23rd, 2017, guess what the calendar looked like? Lucky sevens. It was 777. September 2017, and you had the 23rd, that September 23rd, 2017 alignment equal out to 777. I already talked that in a couple videos. It was the great alignment. We're in a time of revelation right now. That's why all of this stuff getting revealed. The system gonna fall, the more and more this stuff get revealed. That's why they wrote it in their book, because they knew in 7,000 years, the energy from Eden would burst back out again. They knew that. 7,000 years ended September 23rd. That was a great shift. So let me get back to this. After 7, that's it. Ain't nothing after 7. After 7, you get 8. You get born again. Because after 8, there go that spiral. There go that spiral. That 9 is the feminine. 9 is feminine. You know why? 9 is really 10. The number 9 is really 10. When you look at a 9, you're looking at the number 10. 1, 0. This is a musical note. So let's go back and I'm gonna wrap this up. You see now? Can you see what I'm telling you? The number 9 is really the number 10. There shouldn't be a number 10. It stops at number 9 because 9 is the 0 and the 1. The reason we stop our numbers at number 10 is because we don't start them at 0 like we're supposed to. 0 is the first even number. It goes into all numbers. It's the most even number of them all. That's why they want you to ignore it. 0 is the egg, the 360 of life that gave birth to all other numbers. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how all the even numbers line up with 0? And all the odd numbers is 1. 1 is an odd number or atom number because it's the phallus. It's the linear. Li is light, linear. Sunlight shines linear. Moonlight shines abstract. It shines in a 360 type motion. Sunlight shines triangular, linear. You know, it's the masculine is the male because we're the phallus, the line, Geb. The feminine is the spiral, the womb, the spiral of life, feminine. So if you see here, there are no numbers after the feminine. They even tell you after 9, they just giving you the feminine all over again, which is 10. That's nut, the triangle, the 10. You just repeating yourself because they don't want you to know it started from 0. So they got you count from 1, but 1 is 0. When you count in the divine language, 1 is Polaris, Oni, Uni. So that's number 1. This number 2. Because you start from the point, and when you double it up, that's when the creator takes an action. So the waters wasn't disturbed. That's 0, Zen, peace, silence, stillness. When the creator had a thought, linear time was created. That's the male. The male is the male. Think about it. We deliver mail. Mail is delivered. Mail moves linear. When you take an envelope, the mail is inside of the envelope. And look at this. This is the great mother. This is the great seal. This is the hourglass. This is X marks the spot. And the mail is inside of here because the man is born from inside of the woman's womb. Remember I showed you the 5 dice? This is the 5 dice. 4 corners with the pole in the middle. This is where you lick this thing at with your DNA and you seal it. Because the great mother had her tongue out, the serpent, Mama Kali at the center. So the male is inside of the seal or inside of the mother, just like Geb is inside of Nut. And we move linear. We travel. She don't go nowhere. She's the anchor. So she's what allows for movement by her being still. She's what allows him to shine by her being dark. Those stars up there wouldn't be shining if it wasn't for that darkness behind them. She's what went through 9 months of pain for you to live your life and come enjoy this place. She makes the sacrifice. That's why she don't get no credit. They make you start your numbers off with the patriarchal phallus, which is a 1. You should start them off with 0. That'll get your astrology and numerology in order with nature. Because 2 is dose. That means to take an action. That was the first action the creator took, was doubling up itself, subconscious and conscious. The subconscious existed before the conscious. The consciousness was a projection that was shot from the darkness, was called light, line. Moves, dose, 2, dose. After the point of singularity was a linear action. That's why 2 represents an action, but 3 represents a song. So let me move this out the way. We can get back to it. So 3 represents a song, a summit, a peak, a point. That's after you get from the action that you took, there's a result. So when the man and woman come together, they have an orgasm called a climax. And a climax is a peak, a zenith. And a child is born from that peak. The child is the peak. They say you busting a nut. They telling you that you're breaking a firmament. When they talk about the sky is falling, that's sex. When the sperm enters the egg, it breaks the ceiling, it disturbs the waters. And a ripple effect called life, a vibration is happening. That's a man plucking a guitar string. When you pluck a string, you get a vibration. That sperm is when it enters that egg, it disturbs the water. So that's the song of it all. But I'm probably right there. But just summing it up by saying 1 is 0,